Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the third annual HRBT Expansion Project DBE SWaM Opportunity Conference. We are so excited to have all of you here with us today. My name is Malcolm Cates, and I'm the DBE SWaM Compliance Manager for Hampton Roads Connector Partners, a construction joint venture of Dragados USA, Vinci Construction, Flatiron Constructors, and Dodin Campanan Bernard. Together, we are the prime contractor on the HRBT expansion project. This year's conference theme, Hampton Roads Builds Businesses, highlights the great work being done on Hampton Roads on this project and beyond to provide economic and equal opportunity to Virginia's certified disadvantaged business enterprises and small women and minority firms. So whether you've been following the HRBT expansion project for years, or if you're learning about it for the first time today, we welcome you and we appreciate your interest in being a part of it. HRCP, VDOT, and our project partners in the Hampton Roads and across Virginia all remain committed to DBE and SWaM inclusion on this project and beyond. With just over 2.5 years of design and 1 year of construction work completed, we have hit the ground running with small business participation and have a long way to go before the project's completed. So far, the HRBT expansion project has executed over 270 DBE and SWaM agreements for over $350 million to certified DBE and SWaM vendors. From catering to caterpillars and everything in between, HRCP considers every possible project opportunity for small, minority, and women business inclusion. Today, you're going to hear everything from the top-level commitment that makes our civil rights program and our project successful, to specific information about project progress and upcoming opportunities. You'll also get to meet with our project team members from all areas of the project during the event's networking component. But that's not all. You'll also going to hear a panel of top-level public decision makers and small business advocates about all of the incredible resources available to DBE and SWaM businesses, including VDOT's Business Opportunity and Workforce Development Center. With a project of this significance, it takes all of us working together, the owner, prime contractor, small businesses, and community at large, to make it successful. That's why we make events like today's a priority. And whether you're already engaged with the project or still pursuing your first contract, we encourage you to stay connected with us beyond today's event. With that, let's let the fun begin. It's my pleasure to introduce you to an excellent leader and advocate for small businesses on the HRBT expansion project, Mr. Juan Miguel Perez. Juan Miguel joined our team earlier this year, along with our new project manager, Louis Bray, and immediately made it clear to our entire team that they are both fully committed to DBE and SWaM inclusion on this project. Before joining us in Hampton Roads, Juan Miguel has led mega projects and major construction business initiatives around the world, including North America, South America, and Europe, to name a few. He maintains high standards of excellence and integrity for each one of our team members. And with the support and collaboration of Jim Utterback, VDOT's project director, we are very lucky to have him leading the construction of this exciting project. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Juan Miguel Perez.
Good morning. Thank you, Malcolm, for the introduction. My name is Juan Miguel Perez, the project executive for Hampton Roads Connector Partners. On behalf of our team, we thank you for being here this morning. We also thank our partners in the public sector for making the HRBT expansion project possible, including some of whom you will hear from today. Virginia Governor Ralph Northam, Virginia Secretary of Transportation Shannon Valentine, Thomas Nelson Jr., John Maser, and Mary Walker from the Federal Highway Administration, HRTIC Executive Director Kevin Page, Commissioner Stephen Bridge, Sandra Norman, Quinn Crittenden, and Jim Utterbach from the Virginia Department of Transportation. And the 210 DBE and SWAM firms already engaged with the HRBT expansion project for your contributions, and to all of you who have an interest in being a part of the project in the future. This is an exciting time for the HRBT expansion project. Just over 1 year ago, we officially began the project's construction period. Since then, the HRBT's new north and south trestle bridges have already started to rise as their piles and pile caps begin to take shape. Our team also continues sideline expansion activities on the project's North Island and excavation activities on the project's South Island in preparation for the arrival of Mary, the project's tunnel boring machine. Mary is expected to arrive in Hampton Roads from its home in Germany later this fall and will begin boring the project's 2 new lanes tunnels in 2022. On the land side, our team has started construction work to widen I-64 from 2 to 4 lanes in each direction, which will double its current capacity and make travel in the region much more convenient and enjoyable. Today, you will hear more specifically from our team about the HRBT expansion project's progress and some future opportunities for DBE and SWAM firms. You will also have an opportunity to meet with many of our team's decision makers during the virtual networking portion of today's event. So far, we have made great progress for DBE and SWAM participation on the HRBT expansion project. We credit this success to the hard work of our team and to the leadership and support of our federal, state, and local project partners. As always, HRCP remains committed to including Virginia's small businesses in the HRBT expansion project's completion now and moving forward. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our next speaker, who has set a new standard for civil rights leadership and collaboration in the Commonwealth of Virginia, Ms. Sandra Norman, VDOT's Civil Rights Division Administrator. In her role, Sandra is responsible for overseeing VDOT's civil rights internal EEO and external DBE programs. In 2020, Sandra was selected to present testimony to the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure in the U.S. Congress on the significance of the DBE program. She also was elected as one of Virginia Media's 2020 Women in Business, a recognition that celebrates women who have been successful in their careers, have made significant impact in the business community, and who have served as mentors and examples to others. Recently, Sandra was also named as the 2021 recipient of the Rosa Parks Diversity Leadership Recognition Award by the Women's Transportation Seminar, Central Virginia chapter. Good morning, Sandra, and thank you again for joining us today.
Good morning, and thank you, Juan. The Civil Rights Division is pleased to partner with Hampton Roads Connector Partners in an effort to support small and disadvantaged businesses and workforce diversity on the HRBT expansion project. VDOT has been aggressively working to advance Commissioner Stephen Bridge's commitment to opening new doors of opportunities for DBE and SWAM firms. I am excited about what we have accomplished and what the future has in store. Keeping the lines of communication open and making opportunities available are key elements to achieve the level of success your business expects. For this reason, we are asking all of our internal and external partners, primes and subcontractors, consultants, suppliers and vendors, local government and community leaders to become actively engaged in helping to increase minority and women-owned business participation. VDOT has invested in its Business Opportunity and Workforce Development Center, called BAL, which is funded by the Federal Highway Administration. The mission of the center is to provide training and supportive services to certified DBE firms in becoming more self-sufficient and competitive in pursuing contracting opportunities. I strongly encourage you to take advantage of the resources and services being offered through the BAL Center to improve your business potential. For firms currently working on the HRBT project and those planning to work, we want you to have great success from start to finish. For this reason, VDOT and HRCP are building a network of business and financial resources to support your business throughout the life of the project. So we ask you to stay engaged and speak up early and often. If you have never visited the center, reach out virtually, I invite you to do so. Information about the center is also available on VDOT's website at virginiadot.org. I also invite you to become an active member of VDOT's Transportation DBE Advisory Committee called TDAC. We are looking to fill all positions: President, Vice President, Secretary, and Treasurer. TDAC has been an invaluable resource in representing the DBE community, offering recommendations to VDOT's leadership that pose challenges to the DBE program and your business. This is another way to stay connected and informed about programs, policies, and upcoming opportunities. In support of the HRBT and other projects in Hampton Roads, I want to extend my thanks to Queen Crittenton and the entire Hampton Roads Civil Rights Compliance team. They are involved on the HRBT project and other projects across the district, and the team is always available to help you navigate through the process and eager to offer assistance when needed. The support offered by Chris Hall, the district engineer, and Jim Utterbeck, HRBT project manager, continues to offer the leadership needed in delivering these major projects, which lead to greater contract opportunities for your business. While COVID pandemic has and will continue to change how we do business, it has not changed our commitment to support your business goals. It is simply requiring us to become transformative during these uncertain times and seek out innovative ways to stay connected and engaged. So thank you for your time today. And next you will hear from Virginia FHWA Division Administrator Thomas Nelson Jr. Thomas Nelson Jr. has served as Federal Highway Administration FHWA Virginia Division Administrator since June 2019. In this capacity, provides leadership and direction to diverse professional staff implementing the $1 billion Federal Aid Highway Program. Most recently, Thomas served for 4 years as Division Administrator in FHWA in Kentucky. Please welcome Thomas Nelson Jr. As always, stay safe and be safe.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Sandra. It is my pleasure being with you all during this unprecedented time in our country. While this last 2 years has been a challenge, it has also been a time of opportunity. The administration has set forth a vision for infrastructure investment. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act provides $550 billion in new federal investment in infrastructure, including roads, bridges, mass transit, water infrastructure, resilience, and broadband. This includes a 5-year reauthorization of federal highway programs. This bill also establishes new highway programs and substantially increases federal funding for highways, drawn from both the Highway Trust Fund and the General Fund. But the investment we make are only meaningful if we make sure they go to the underserved communities that need them the most, and if we hire women and minority-owned and operated businesses to do the hard work of bringing those new projects to life. Through our Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, we're helping ensure that small businesses owned by people of color and women get a fair chance to compete for infrastructure contracts. FHWA is a huge supporter of the DBE program. Today, there are over 40,000 firms around the country certified through this program, and we're working with stakeholders to update the certification requirements. Also, our Departmental Office of Civil Rights, which provides oversight for the DBE program, is working on a notice of proposed rulemaking to modernize some of the more antiquated DBE and airport concession DBE regulations and strengthen both programs even further. We hope to publish this notice of proposed rulemaking in the Federal Register next year and look forward to hearing your feedback once it's published. FHW knows that the barriers to entry into this industry can be prohibitively high. You need a well-trained workforce and expensive equipment, not to mention the technical expertise to navigate the application process and secure contracts. That's why we've been working hard to implement new procurement policies to ensure those businesses get a fair share of DOT contracts. Also, we know the theme for this year's event is Hampton Roads Builds Businesses, and that's exactly right. FHWA recognizes that focusing most of our efforts on administrating the DBE program in the context of alternative contract delivery methods, which are often some of our largest projects, is a key strategy to advancing equity by ensuring small, disadvantaged businesses have a fair opportunity to compete on federally assisted state-led contracts. Design-build contracting, however, presents many challenges to the administration of the DBE program due to the nature of this non-traditional contracting method with limited project information at the time proposals are submitted, as well as the complexity of goal setting and tiering of subcontracting. That is why it's important to recognize the hard work that VDOT, the Hampton Roads Connector Partners, and local leaders have invested to build businesses. There are many opportunities for DBE on the project. The summer of 2022 will have a great deal of construction work taking place with a wide variety of different type of works that can be performed by DBE. This project also has great opportunities for women and minorities on workforce side of the project. And we strongly encourage VDOT and the Hampton Roads Connector Partners to continue that great work started. I thank you in advance for ensuring that the DBE goals and commitments are translated into jobs and revenue for women-owned and DBE firms. As I close, I am pleased to welcome VDOT's Commissioner, Stephen Rich. Stephen was appointed Commissioner in 2018 and has performed exceptionally well in overseeing the third largest highway agency in the country. For more than 26 years, he has successfully led and managed an array of projects and programs. During his tenure at VDOT, he has continued to advance the agency's diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. It has been a pleasure working with Stephen upon my appointment in this position. So again, thank you. Take it away, Commissioner.
Thank you, Thomas. Good morning and welcome to the Hampton Roads Builds Businesses DBE and SWaM Symposium. I am pleased all of you could join us here today. Last year, the HRBT expansion project was granted the notice to proceed. Since then, VDOT and the Hampton Roads Connector Partners have made significant progress in moving the project forward and offering disadvantaged business enterprises and small women and minority-owned business opportunities. The project continues to make headway with the much-anticipated arrival of Mary, the tunnel boring machine. Crews work day and night to prepare the North Island and the South Island for the arrival of the TBM. Marine trestle construction progresses as bridge crews drive piles and place pile caps on the permanent structures. On the land side, traffic shifts are in place as work to widen the Interstate 64 is currently underway. As the project continues to advance in construction, more opportunities will become available for DBE and SWaM businesses. You will learn more about these opportunities throughout today's program. Going forward, we ask that you remain engaged with VDOT and our team, as there will be more outreach events to learn about upcoming opportunities. Before I close, I would like to acknowledge our key project partners, starting with the Hampton Roads Transportation Accountability Commission and the HRTAC Executive Director, Kevin Page. I also want to thank our project engineer, Jim Utterback, and the entire VDOT and consultant owners team. They've worked tirelessly to transition the HRBT expansion project from the design phase to construction. Lastly, I would like to thank the Hampton Roads Connector Partners joint venture that is helping VDOT deliver this landmark infrastructure project to improve access to and throughout the Hampton Roads region and the Commonwealth of Virginia. I will now welcome the Secretary of Transportation, Shannon Valentine. For more than 25 years, Shannon has worked to create economic opportunity through housing, education, and transportation. and has been a progressive leader and strong industry advocate. She is a true champion for transportation and ensuring that diverse Virginia businesses have the access and ability to make a difference in our infrastructure solutions. Secretary Valentine, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Commissioner. I really appreciate it. Good morning, Jim Utterback. Great to be with you. Hello, Juan Miguel Perez. Thomas Nelson from FHWA, Sandra Norman, my friend and partner. Queen, hello. It's great to be with you. Malcolm Cates, who is in charge of our DBE SWaM compliance. Hello to you and to all of our distinguished guests. The fact that we are sending virtual messages this year certainly indicates we are not through the global pandemic. And as we continue to work our way through it, I do want you to know our highest priority continues to be the health and safety of our employees, our partners, and our customers. And as we continue to do that, we also continue our commitment to the entire and across the Transportation Secretariat to transporting critical goods and connecting people to essential work, food, medicine, and opportunity. When we look back on these past couple years, I believe one of the great lessons we will learn is just how foundational transportation is to people each and every day. And one of our most foundational projects is the Hampton Roads Bridge expansion, the largest transportation construction project in Virginia's history, a $3.8 billion project generating $4.6 billion in economic impact within the Hampton Roads region. And we are able to do this, to create this incredible opportunity, because we work with the best, the brightest, and most innovative, our DBE and SWaM businesses and partners. Quite frankly, we could not do this without you. It's hard to believe that since the beginning of this project, the 271 DBE and SWaM agreements have been executed, totaling $372 million. Even in the midst of the pandemic, $279 million of that investment was awarded to DBE and SWaM contracts. And I'm very proud that 80% of those projects are businesses right here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. This progress can only be attributed to leadership and collaboration with VDOT, our Civil Rights Division, the Bowd Center, and Hampton Roads Connector Partners DBE program. And the $372 million that's been invested already will only increase as the project moves forward. I believe transportation is the platform for Virginia's economy. And all of you who are with us today, especially our DBE and SWaM partners, are helping not only to deliver Virginia's largest infrastructure project, you are also helping to create access, equity, and economic opportunity for all people. No one understands that more than our governor. He has been steadfast in his commitment to transportation and steadfast in his commitment to visible equity, diversity, and inclusion. He has worked tirelessly to create an economy that works for all people, regardless of who they are or where they live. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 73rd Governor of our Commonwealth, Governor Ralph Northam. Good morning, Governor.
Thank you and good morning. I have some exciting updates to share today about the Commonwealth's efforts to secure equitable access to business opportunities. The Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel Expansion Project is an incredible opportunity for local businesses, and it's already having an immense economic impact on the Hampton Roads region. The HRBT expansion is expected to add 28,000 jobs throughout the duration of the project, along with hundreds of contract opportunities for DBE and SWaM businesses to work as subcontractors or suppliers. We have been named the top state for business by CNBC for 2 years in a row. I could not be prouder of what this accolade says about the inclusive, common sense policies that we have put in place. and that includes making sure Virginia's DBEs and SWAMs have equitable access to opportunities, especially with Virginia's largest infrastructure project to date. Early last year, we announced the Rebuild Virginia Economic Recovery Fund for small businesses impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. I am proud to report that as of October the 1st, more than 3,500 small businesses in Virginia have been awarded $140 million in grant funding. Back in September, we launched the Start Small app. This app will connect users and state government agencies with nearby vendors of DBE and SWAM businesses, opening your business to more opportunities. I also want to encourage all of the DBE and SWAM business owners who are here today to register your firm with EVA, Virginia's online marketplace. EVA is one way that DBE and SWAM business owners can find more business opportunities in our Commonwealth. The site offers outreach and events to help business owners succeed. Disadvantaged business enterprises and SWAM businesses are critical components in delivering the Commonwealth's largest infrastructure project successfully. Thank you all for the work that you do, and I wish you all the best of luck at this event.
Thank you so much, Governor Northam, Secretary Valentine, Commissioner Britch, Thomas Nelson, Sandra Norman, and Juan Miguel Perez for those special remarks. Coming up next at 8:30, we have our special presentation from Stephen Myers, HRCP's Communications Manager, on the project update. And also quick shout out to Mayor Tuck from the city of Hampton, who I know has registered and I believe is with us here today. So we're going to take a very quick break and meet back here at 8:30 a.m. See you in a moment.
Good morning. My name is Stephen Myers, and I'm the Communications Manager for Hampton Roads Connector Partners, the design build lead for the project. When Malcolm first started looking at the agenda for today's conference, he asked me if I would go through and present a few slides to show the members in the conference an update on the project status, where we are at this point in time, and what activities we're currently undertaking in construction on the project. And the second part of the presentation I go through will be of real value to you, as small business opportunities will be shown by region in the project. So by various regions, by various activities we're currently doing, what the opportunities are currently and in the near term for small businesses to participate in the project. On those slides, when we get to that part of the presentation, you'll see the area, the opportunities that exist, and you will also see a contact name for HRCP, the employee or the manager in that area who's responsible for overseeing the opportunities that we might have for small business in that area, as well as their email address and a listing of which breakout room they'll be attending at the end of this conference for you to join into and discuss the issues with them. So with that, we'll get started in the presentation on the update on the project status. The first slide we'll go through, we'll talk to you about, if I can advance it. Try this again. All right, here we go. The first slide gives you a brief history of the project and where we are now with the development of the project. The Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel Expansion Project really got kicked off in 2019, early 2019, when the Commonwealth of Virginia signed an agreement between the Commonwealth and HRCP. This is a design build contract, meaning that the prime contractor, HRCP, is responsible for the design aspects as well as the construction aspects and delivering the final products to the Commonwealth. VDOT is the owner of the project, and we actually work hand in glove with VDOT throughout every stage of the project to make sure we're delivering a high quality product on time and on budget for the Commonwealth. You've heard before, HRCP, which is Hampton Roads Connector Partners, we're a design joint venture, we're actually a construction joint venture comprised of 4 large global engineering and heavy construction firms, comprised of Dragados, which is a Spanish engineering firm, Vinci Construction, a French engineering firm, Flatiron Constructors, based here out of the US, and then Doden Campion Bernard, a Canadian company. So you can see we're very much of a multinational, multicultural, multi-language joint venture, and it makes working for the group very exciting and very fun. HDR and Mott McDonald are the design firms for the project. And then, as you've heard before, the project cost is the largest in Virginia's history, is $3.8 billion. Very large, very massive project, very important project. And we're due to be completed construction-wise with the assets usable to the public by the fall of 2025. So we still have 4 years roughly left in the design completion and the actual construction of the various aspects of the project. This slide goes through and shows you an overview of the project scope. Again, it goes from the Hampton side of Hampton Roads down to the Norfolk side and the harbor between the two. Basically, we're looking at boring 2 new twin tunnels. Now, when we say bored, what that means is all the tunnels in the Hampton Roads area prior to this tunnel have been constructed using what's called immersed tube tunnel technology, where you dig a canal or a trench in the bottom of the water, the river, where you basically place in that trench concrete elements, lock them together, dewater them, and construct the tunnel. This is going to be a unique process for us. We're doing a bored tunnel where we actually used a tunnel boring machine to bore under the bottom of the river. So we're going below the river bottom, not actually going into the river and causing issues that way. So a much different way of doing things, a much higher technology involved, and we're excited to begin using the tunnel boring machine, which I'll talk about later in that process. We're also doing work on land side, on widening I-64, both in Hampton and Norfolk, about a mile's length worth in Hampton and 4 miles widening in Norfolk. And we're going from the existing 2 lanes in each direction to 4 lanes in each direction. So we're doubling capacity. Bridges are also going to be either rehabilitated, replaced, or widened along that project corridor. There are 10 bridge structures that are going to be replaced during the project, and there are 17 bridge structures that are going to be rebuilt, meaning they're widened to accompany the new travel lanes. A total of 9,000 feet across the harbor, those trestles that we talked about, and I'll show you later, as well as 5,000 feet across the Willoughby Bay. This is a high-level view of the project schedule. We're here at the green line that says current, late 2021. Again, late 2025 is the target completion date. This all kicked off in early 2019. So for the past year and a half, we've been doing a lot of work with the permitting aspect of the phase and the pre-construction work required to get us ready for construction. About a year ago, October of last year, we commenced construction activity, the construction phase for the project. So for the past year, we've been doing work both on the roadways and on the bridges, both Hampton and Norfolk, as well as the trestles on the harbor, and a lot of work on the 2 islands, the North and South Island, getting ready for the boring activity. We'll go through now and look at the various parts of the project and give you an update on where we are with construction. As far as roadway construction goes, basically we're widening I-64, again, to accommodate 2 new lanes of travel in each direction, eastbound and westbound. Begin at Mallory Street Bridge area in Hampton, all the way down to the I-64, I-564 interchange in Norfolk. And when it's expanded, it will include 2 general purpose, the 2 lanes we have currently, plus a 3rd lane, which would be a general purpose lane, and then a 4th lane, which would be a high occupancy toll, also called HOT lane. So that would be the 4 lanes each direction. And a note there on that slide shows we're putting a very high importance level on making sure that we have MOT, or maintenance of traffic, in place during construction, so we maintain activity, 2 lanes of traffic each direction during construction, especially during the daylight heavy traffic hours. There may be times at night where we're doing maybe a single lane closure in certain aspects of certain parts of the interstate to allow us to do work, but by and large we'll have 2 lanes open during the heavy travel days, heavy travel times of the day, each direction. I want to back up a minute. There's a little note at the bottom of that slide, and it describes the photo. This shows activity in the median between the east and westbound lanes of I-64 in Hampton, basically demolishing that median barrier wall. That will allow us to begin expanding and widening the interstates there. But the little box down here is important. It tells you who the credit for that photo is. And the listing there is called Aero Photo America. That is one of our small business firms that helps us with our aerial photography work. Again, a local firm, local small business, local SWaM firm that contracts with us to provide aerial photographs on a periodic basis throughout the project. Very important to us. This next slide shows bridge construction updates. And again, there are 10 bridges that are going to be replaced during the project. This photo shows what's called the Mallory Street Bridge in Hampton. That bridge is an active bridge. It will maintain activity during the project, but it will be replaced during the project. This shows work underway now on the south side of the bridge, where we're going to be working in the next few weeks to begin demolishing a controlled demolition of that bridge and the replacing of that portion of the bridge. Once that south side of the bridge is replaced, then we'll shift traffic to the south side, shift pedestrians to the south side, and begin working on the north side of the bridge, repeating the same process, removing that part of the bridge and replacing it. This credit for this photo goes to another small business firm that we have employed in the project. It's a minority DBE-based firm in the Northeast, and they provide construction camera footage, equipment, and maintenance for us to be able to view various aspects of the project as we conduct our construction activities. Again, a very important small business firm to our operation and to our activity. This slide shows another bridge construction update, this time on the trestles on the over the harbor. This shows trestle work underway here along adjacent to the existing eastbound trestle leading from the North Island to the Hampton shoreline. And it just shows activity underway with the piles and the caps being laid to allow us to begin working on that part of the trestle. Back up for a moment. There's also another island, the south side, the South Island to the south of that. Same activities going on there to begin constructing the trestle leading from the South Island to the Norfolk shoreline. Here's another slide regarding bridges construction update. And basically there are 17, in addition to the 10 bridges being replaced, there are 17 bridges that are going to be widened during the project. And this just lists some of the activity underway currently within the city of Norfolk to begin widening some of those interstate bridges. The bridge over West Evans Street is currently in process. The bridge over West Bayview Avenue, the bridge over Willoughby Bay, Willoughby Bay itself, yes. The bridge over Oasters Creek, and the one that's being shown in this slide is a bridge over Mason Creek. And as you can see, we had to build a temporary work trestle that runs basically adjacent to I-64 eastbound to allow us to begin placing pile and then caps and then building the widened trestle. The next part of the project talks about the tunnel construction, one of the big markers of the project, the new tunnels. This schematic shows that basically the purple line is the existing tunnel that leads from the north to the South Island. The new tunnels, the two new tunnels will be bored beginning at the South Island. A tunnel will be dug under the river up to the North Island. The tunnel boring machine will be turned around, and then it will begin digging back to the South Island for the second tunnel. And as you can see on this slide, there's some purple areas that exist on each island. That purple area is where we have had to expand the footprint of the island, almost doubling the size of the North Island to allow for the reception of the tunnel boring machine and the construction of the tunnel portals that allow you to actually enter and exit the tunnels. So a lot of work going on those two islands. Here's a picture of the South Island. A lot of activity going on the South Island. This is the island where we will actually receive the tunnel boring machine when it's shipped from Germany to us. And then we will reassemble the tunnel boring machine and we will launch it. This area right here is called the launch pit. We will begin excavating that in the next few weeks. We would then lower the tunnel boring machine into that and then assemble it and then launch it from that site headed towards the North Island next year to begin digging the first tunnel. You also see this section here, work is underway to construct what's called a quay, a dock, if you will, for us to receive the tunnel boring machine once it is received from its manufacturer in Germany. This is a photograph of the North Island, the one that leads to the Hampton side. This is the island that we actually had to almost double the footprint size of the island. You see all this dirt here, all this barrier, that's the new portion of the island that has been constructed to allow us to then begin receiving the tunnel boring machine once it's dug its way under the river, and then turn it back around and head it back towards the South Island. And then the new tunnel portals will be in this area as well. Also, you see work, this part right here in the middle, as well as over here, work is underway to begin the construction of the new trestles that will lead to and from the Hampton shoreline to the North Island. This is an image of the tunnel boring machine itself. Again, we have named the tunnel boring machine Mary, and Mary right now is getting ready to leave Germany, actually going to ship out of Antwerp, Belgium, on 3 different container ships over the next couple of weeks. They're going to be shipping it to us here in Norfolk. We're going to receive it, the various parts in probably the latter part of November timeframe. And then once we receive those, they'll be sent to the South Island, and they'll begin the assembly process to launch the machine next year. They're very large. We have models that show this here in operation. You're going to hear a lot more about this tunnel boring machine as we get closer to the assembly and the launch of it. It's a very big part of this project. So those first set of slides just go through and give you a quick little overview of where we are at this point in time with the construction activities underway on the HRBT expansion project. And we're excited about with work going on. We're doing great things. We have good people helping us, and we also have some very good DBE SWaM firms who are helping us in this process. And we need more. So these next series of slides will help show you by region, by activity, what kind of opportunities we have available for a small business to engage in the project. Before we start that, I want to go through a real quick slide that shows you where we are as far as our goals as a firm for DBE and SWaM and small business opportunity and activity. Very important to this project, as you've heard from the various speakers before me. Some of the goals that we've set for this project are 12% of the project going to DBE firms, 20% going to SWaM firms. We have workforce participation goals of minority employees of at least 27% and women of at least almost 7%, 6.9%. And according to what I heard yesterday, we're actually running ahead. We're exceeding those as of this point in time. And then on the job training program, we're looking to have 80 graduates from that OJT by the end of the actual project. And that's a great program for us to train individuals on a craft, on a trade, and them to have that knowledge and that skill set moving forward in their career. The first area we're going to look at is called maintenance of traffic, MOT. And basically, in the yellow box, it shows current and or upcoming opportunities. Now, keep in mind, folks, this may not be a complete, total, exhaustive list of all the opportunities that we see currently or in the near future. Needs develop continually. So we need to make sure we stay in contact with the various DBE and SWaM firms to let them know of opportunities that not only exist now, but that might come up in the near future or even down the road in months and years ahead. So the upcoming opportunities for this for the maintenance of traffic area are existing street lighting maintenance throughout the project corridor, and then sign maintenance also throughout the project corridor. The HRCP contact for this type of information and these opportunities is a guy named Brian Ballard. Brian is our MOT manager. His email address right there is shown as bballard@hrcpjb.com. In fact, all the email addresses you see going forward will be the first letter of the person's name, then their last name, and then @hrcpjb.com. Brian will be in breakout room number 2 following this presentation to discuss opportunities, interests, comments, whatever that you may have, if that's of interest to you as far as an opportunity for engaging the project. The second area is the island expansion taking place on the South Island of the HRBT project. And what shows here is current upcoming opportunities broken down to 4 phases of work for island expansion on the South Island. The first looks at what's called early works. the early works phase. That's mobilization of equipment, that's utility relocation, sediment mitigation, and then overall general site preparation for work. Phase 2 is the seabed preparation phase, the clearing and or dredging activities to take place. The third phase is the bund placement phase, where you're placing perimeter bund and shore preparation, and you're removing existing armor stone from the area. And then the fourth phase is the field placement phase, where you're placing underlayer stone, you're placing island fill in the expanded area, and you're vibro-compacting that fill. Megan Pym, who's the island expansion project manager, is the contact for that part of the project. Her email address is mpim@hrcpjv.com. And Megan will be in breakout room number 14 to answer any questions or concerns or hear your interest in opportunities for that area of the project. The third area looks at project-wide, talking about equipment. And some of the current or upcoming opportunities include electrical work, mechanical, and welding operations. And Sergio Estebanez is the equipment manager for HRCP. There's his email address. And Sergio and I think representatives from his group will be present in breakout room number 7 to talk about any opportunities they may have within that aspect, equipment. The next area looks at marine construction. A lot of marine work underway in the harbor, and we have a need for towing, concrete cutting, concrete wire sawing, as well as demolition of existing trestle bridges. As I mentioned in slides previously, once these new trestles are in place, leading from Hampton to the North Island, from the South Island to Norfolk, those existing trestles are going to be demolished and removed from the project. So there's going to be work for that. The contact person at HRCP for that activity is Ron Meyer, and Ron is our marine construction manager. His email address is ronmeyer@hrcpjv.com. He's also going to be in room number 11 following this at the end of the conference to go through and talk about activity in that area. Marine trestles. These are the groups basically constructing the new trestles that are going to replace the existing trestles on both sides of the water. Current opportunities include concrete finishing, the welding of temporary structures, equipment service and maintenance, the hauling of precast elements, and slip forming of the barrier walls. Our contact for that activity is Rob Gianna. He's the Marine Trestles Project Manager. Is Rob's email address. And Rob will be in breakout room number 8 to answer any questions or concerns you may have regarding activity in the marine trestle area. The next area is roadway and structures construction. The work being done to widen 64 and the work being done to either replace or to widen the bridges along the corridor. Current opportunities include MSC wall painting, gravity wall painting, and then small signage throughout the area. Angel Crispo is a roadways project manager, and there's his email address. And Julio Jimenez is our structures project manager. There's going to be 3 separate breakout rooms talking about roadway and structures opportunities. Breakout room 1 will include roadway construction. Room number 6 talks about earthwork and pavement work requirements. And breakout room number 9 talks about the structures, the bridge work. So you can pick one or all 3 of those to attend to tie into to find out more about those areas. The next slide talks about the tunnels and the portals work. Again, that work being done on the south and North Island to prepare for and ultimately to begin receiving the tunnel boring machine and to begin boring the tunnel and preparing the portals that will lead to and from the tunnels. Current opportunities include concrete paving, maintenance facility construction, aggregates hauling, the hauling of precast elements, fire protection board, both the coating of the board as well as the installation of the board, mortar and tile installation, slip forming of barrier walls, and then a final clearing once construction is complete, preparing the tunnels for use. Our main contact for that activity area is Luca Pellegrini. He is our Area 3 project manager. There'll be 2 breakout rooms focusing on this area of the project. Room 15 will address the portals, and room 16 will address the tunnels themselves. So again, you can actually access either or both of those rooms to find out more about the work opportunities in those 2 areas of the project. These last 2 slides look at basically the overall general products and services requirements that we have for the project-wide. Current opportunities include potable water and potable ice, dumpsters, the portable toilets, restroom facilities, and washrooms, lots of personal protective equipment, PPE, rigging, welding glasses, various paints and aggregates, borrow material, fill and sand material, asphalt, bentonite, and anchor bolts. And our main contact for the general types of services and products is our procurement manager, Bob Carney. And Bob will be in room number 3, to address any of these issues or concerns or questions you may have regarding general products and services for the project. And this second slide also addresses this continuation of the first slide, talks about other needs we have: curing blankets and compound, rebar accessories, expansion joints, sole plates, bridge parapet rail, steel diaphragms, controlled access fencing, scuppers, slim form barrier wall, and PDAs and pile driving. And I've listed 2 other folks besides Bob Carney. I've listed John Cassidy on here as our safety director. John, of course, will be concerned about all the safety and environmental protection and compliance aspects in these services. John will be in breakout room number 4 to answer any questions or concerns regarding that area. And in addition, Joe Licari, who is our utilities manager, breakout room number 10. So those 2 folks are available also at the end of this session to go through and discuss those areas of the project with you. In addition to opportunities for small business to engage and participate in this great project, we also have various employment needs for skilled and craft labor. And these are project-wide positions. And we're currently working with local media to launch a fall recruitment campaign on the media or through the media to alert the public of our needs. And right now, I've listed 3 job types there that are very much in demand and that our HR department is pursuing to try to fill these positions. The highest demand right now is excavator operators, then carpenter foreman, and then carpenter themselves. We have big demand for that. Cheryl Correa, who's our senior HR specialist, will be in room number 5 following this presentation to talk about any interest that you or others may have, that you know may have, and maybe pursuing a career in one of those opportunities here on the project. We also have a website, HRCPjobs.com, where folks can go and view the opportunities for employment and find out more about how to go through that process. This last slide is basically a contact sheet that shows you various ways of getting in touch with HRCP, either for opportunities with DBE, SWaM, small business firms to take part in the project, or opportunities for people to actually become employed in the project. The main project website is called hrbtexpansion.org, a wealth of information on both the project, the current status of the project, as well as updates to the public and to the traveling motorist on aspects of the project, lane closures, that sort of thing. Very good point of reference for information, current information on what's going on with the project. Mention HRCPjobs.com. Currently, that site is being maintained by HRCP, and it lists it lists job opportunities. That's going to be expanded in the next few days to include a section on DBE and SWaM opportunities. So it'll be a joint use kind of site that will show opportunities for employment and opportunities for DBE and SWaM small business engagement. And we'll keep that active as things come into scope for our needs. Our main switchboard telephone number, in case you want to get hold of us by phone, is 578-9284. Malcolm Cates, who you met earlier, is our compliance manager. Our HR manager is Takima Williams. And our corporate address is 240 Corporate Boulevard in Norfolk, Virginia. So that's my presentation. We're happy to answer any questions or comments you may have. And we'll go back to, I guess, Malcolm, you or Billy going to take over, I believe.
Thank you so much for that, Steve. Yes, so we have some time here for any questions. If anybody has some questions they want to. So we have one related to and quality assurance are both handled by some of HRCP's subcontractors. So we can certainly connect you with them, and Satish, I'll reach out to you following the event to do that. Are there any other questions by anybody who would like to ask Steve about the project progress or anything else? All right, great. Well, in that case, we appreciate everybody sticking around for this and hope you enjoyed the information up to this point. We will take a short break and meet back here at 9:25 a.m. for the panel presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you, Steve, for everything.
You guys, appreciate it.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is actually, before we bring the panel on, just I want to give a quick shout out to our media partners at America DBE Magazine and their publisher, Shelton Russell, for all your support of this event and of the DBE program and project overall. And with that, we can go ahead and get started with our panel. A lot of great speakers and great content to go through. So it is my pleasure to welcome Miss Queen Crittenden, Angela Barber, Nina Britton, Elisa Mako, Erica Spencer, and LaShonda Williams Hall, And Darren Brown will also be joining us from VDOT's Bound Center shortly. So Billy, if we can bring in the panelists.
We have everyone on?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, we have one more to join.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I haven't seen a few of you in a while.
Right.
All right. Is Darren on?
Darren is logging in, but with so many wonderful participants, I think we can probably start, and he'll join us momentarily.
All right.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Perfect.
And it's so nice to be with you again. I know last year we had wonderful discussion, a great panel, and look who we have today. Oh my goodness, this distinguished panel today. To get started, as we have heard this morning from Virginia's top leaders, that commitment to DBE and SWaM businesses remains stronger than ever. With projects like HRBT expansion project, along with other major projects across the state being designed and built, we see it even more crucial that small, women, and minority-owned businesses not only survive, but also to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
It is so critical in order for that to happen, in order to meet Virginia's, construction and transportation demands today. So we have a lot to talk about. And so we do have this wonderful panel. And as you know, the theme for this is growth through progress and Hampton Roads build businesses. And I think it's so appropriate where we are in order to be able to have a conversation around that. And this is what this is going to be. So we're going to have a lot of fun because we know this panel has a lot of information, and they've served as strong advocates for those in our community. And so with that, I know they're like, okay, who's going to get that first question? So one of the things I do want to, because the project connects to Norfolk and to Hampton, I want to start with you, LaShonda. And one of the key pieces of that is simply, as your role with the city of Norfolk, being able to focus on small business initiatives. And I think that's a really critical element. And I know the city is doing some really great things for our community and under your leadership. And so that's why I really want to start with you in responding to how has the small business environment here in Hampton Roads changed in the last few years? And where do you see us going from here?
Sure. Thank you so much, Queen. I'm happy to be here. So as a business development with the City of Norfolk, I do oversee our small business initiatives. And while we're creating programs for entrepreneurs to start and grow their business, we've recently evolved from creating those standard programming to more aiming to provide an equal access to opportunities and resources for people who might otherwise be excluded or marginalized. We want to build more of a culture for conducive for growth. We see that Hampton Roads, over the next 5 years, more collaboration across cities to provide more contract opportunities and trainings and support. So our primary focus is minority-owned and women-owned business owners.
Okay. I think that's really spot on, because we see that change, within our community. And so with that, is there anyone else who want to jump in on that question with regard to seeing those changes? What about you, Erica? You want to chime in on that question?
Sure. I think, the biggest part of just piggybacking off what LaShonda said is being intentional on the approach to establish these relationships and maintain positive relationships whether it be here in Hampton or in Norfolk. There's times that there's a need that a business owner has that I don't have a program for, or they're not a good fit for what they're trying to do here, but LaShonda may have that program. So I think it's important and that we be intentional to make sure those relationships stay where they need to be so that we can get those business owners to whoever it is, whether it be me, LaShonda, Angie, whoever that is, and meet them where they are so that they can continue to grow and not be stuck just waiting on something specific with one person in one city.
Right. That's really key. And I like that word that you said, intentional, because sometimes that's a reminder that we have to share with our firms. It is important for them to have a plan, right? And execute that plan. Because if we don't plan, we plan to fail. And so that is so crucial in this process. So if we could write on a whiteboard that word intentional in our efforts, I think that will be key for small business growth. So thank you for that. So, as we dive into, the conversation a little bit more, we do have a partner that kind of represents our region, and that is, so I'm going to call you next, Alyssa, with the Small Business Transportation Resource Center, because one of the questions that we have is, how do projects like HRBT expansion play a role in your organization's success? You have been a great partner to the project. You've been a great partner to VDOT as we, try to grow small businesses. So how does that look for your organization?
Yeah, thank you, Queen. Thanks for having us here. The US DOT funds a series of small business transportation resource centers, or SBTRC is our fancy federal acronym. My territory, if you will, on behalf of US DOT is all of Virginia, all of North Carolina, West Virginia, Kentucky, and the DC metro space. So we got 4 states in one territory, if you will. But some of these larger, big projects, the goal for us is really to encourage our small minority, diverse firms to build their capacity so that they're more able to bid successfully and complete on these particular projects, especially the larger projects that have such a huge economic impact into the communities that they serve. So we're proud to be, helping out with the Hampton Roads Connector Partners. We've held a couple of small business workshops, or a series of workshops called the Bonding Education Program. And one of the things we're seeing in the new environment, with COVID and all the different changes in technology, we've been able to offer the bonding series in person before the shutdown, and now we're offering a series of bonding classes online virtually. So, we're trying to still keep in touch with all of our small businesses across the region and make sure we can connect them with the right partners like Malcolm and his team to kind of make sure they're prepared for when the opportunities come. And we provide that technical assistance so they're prepared to bid and to perform.
Alyssa, one of the things I know that you were able to do earlier, and we have Billy kind of backstage. And if Billy could pop in, I think this might be a good time, being that you mentioned the BEP, which has been quite successful, here in Virginia, to put that link, up when he can,
The bonding classes, it's a series of curriculum that's tailored towards construction specifically. We have subject matter expertise with experience in the construction world, really talking about upcoming opportunities, how to prepare myself, all the rest of the nitty gritty kind of details I need to know to be successful in competing, and then prepared to complete the project on the job site for the Hampton Roads project and others that are going to be coming. With this infrastructure bill, there's going to be a lot of others coming. So we need to kind of prepare our firms now, I think, for what's coming.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Alyssa, for that information. I'm going to bring you back and ask a little bit more, some questions about some of the other services. But in the interim, we have, 2 of our partners, and and they know how I feel about both of them, and that is with the Virginia Department of Small Business Supplier Diversity. I think Hampton Roads is quite, I use the word blessed in terms of having the level of resources that we have in our region. And then we have, 2 representatives here in Hampton Roads from that one agency in order to service small businesses? Nina, and you can share a little bit, in terms of the distinction, but I have a very specific question for you and a very specific question for Angela as well, as they talk about the role and the service that they play. But I would like to hear from you, Nina, with regard to, as a small business advocate, what are you doing differently in this virtual environment to provide continuous support to small businesses?
Wow. Thanks, Queen, for the question, and thanks for having us. I think we've been able to pivot. Nothing has stopped since we've
Mhm.
gone into this virtual environment. So, our agency is still open for business. We're continuing to have virtual outreach sessions. We partner with all of our transportation agencies within the region, and also getting our business owners and small business owners to understand that, we have highway, of course, which is our biggest partner, but we also have aviation and we also have transit that have DBE goals. So I think it's very important for me to be able to bridge those connections with our business owners and our DBE firms to let them know maybe there's, it may not be an opportunity at VDOT, but we have our transit and we have aviation partners that have DBE goals as well. And being able to explain how those goals work and what those goals mean to them in terms of DBE firms. So we haven't stopped. Actually, I've been, I don't want to say the business has picked up quite a bit being virtual, but, I've been able to do a lot of outreach sessions virtually because people, can spend a little bit more time in their office. They don't have to travel where we are. Participation has been wonderful, and the connections have been great. So I think we haven't missed a beat. We've been able to pivot since the pandemic started.
And Nina, I really like, what you bring to the table, because I think I even go back to the first time that we met, and you really was thinking outside the box and how to expand those opportunities. And you just, went to look at, what's happening in aviation and what's happening in transit in order to bring more opportunities to, to certified, DB and SWaM vendors. It's almost like you put so much in that toolbox, so that you're equipped to help businesses right here in our space that they never even thought about. So for those in those areas, I encourage them to seek out, your support and your assistance, in those regards. We sometimes tend to want to stay in our lanes, but you have really expanded that for firms and, in those spaces. So I really appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
All right, Angela. All right, this is a big one right here.
Thanks, Queen.
I know, right? I said we were gonna have some fun. Because it's really about, for this session, identifying those really unique opportunities, and how can we get that message out? And so for you, this question is, just from your perspective, what do you see as some of those new opportunities, if any, has the pandemic opened up for Hampton Roads small businesses? What do you think about that?
Well, I will tell you, there's from a couple of areas I can say. One, I agree with and with Nina. The opportunities are not always going to be for the contracting side or the bidding on the contracts, because I believe in what we do in business development is making sure those businesses have resources, that they are businesses that are ready to be able to provide for those opportunities. So during this pandemic, and like Nina said, we did not miss a beat. We were able to just pivot and get right back on the horse and just keep going. So some of those businesses also took time to really work on their businesses. So that was also an opportunity as well. So a lot of times as small business owners, they are so busy working in their business, they don't contribute any time to working on their business.
Yes.
And regardless of the certifications or the contacts that they make, it's really not going to help a business if they are not a viable business. that their business is functioning properly and that they have all of the resources as well. But also during this time, I did see a lot of businesses expand not only their operations, but to actually expand some of their product and service lines to meet the needs for COVID. So whether that meant that they were, if they were a janitorial company, they expanded their sanitizing services, or if they were doing supplies, they provided masks and different types of PPE. And now that we've kind of, I want to say, leveled those, that has kind of leveled out, I still see those businesses providing those type of services. And these are probably services that they didn't think that they had the capability to be able to include, or that they would. But because of COVID, it is actually provided opportunities for businesses to be able to, I guess, increase their bottom line as well.
Right, right. Angie, that is so important. And I do, like the aspect in terms of transportation. And then I always say, go to Angie, she's everything else,
Thank you. Yeah.
in simple terms, but looking at, kind of what you said in terms of, how firms have expanded those areas. And so, you serving as a great resource for those businesses, because sometimes even for the HRBT project, think about it, it's all kinds of opportunities,
Yes.
like they talked about earlier, where we talk about engineering, consulting, and then construction, but also those vendor and procurement opportunities. And so you have been instrumental also in identifying some of those firms to help them transition into this construction world, right?
Right. Yeah, that's one of the services is also working with them to make sure that they're connecting with those buyers to find out what is needed, whether it's from a state agency or a local agency. A lot of times they don't know what's needed because they don't know how to make the connection. So it's
Right.
also making sure they are connected to those buyers and building those relationships so that they can also provide or have additional opportunities.
Excellent, excellent. And I see a lot of head nods going on from the panel because, I'm sensing they're all in agreement, what's being said, and we can convey, those messages and continue to press hard and press forward, with firms. We're going to really see some major growth and development of our firms, because one of the things I think, even with this outreach event and many events that we host, whether it be, events that SBSD hosts, or the city of Hampton, or the city of Norfolk, or even the Bell Center, it really is about how can we expand capacity, right? Expanding capacity for our firms, and so that they can have more, tools in their toolbox to be able to grow their business. We think the more the better you are. So again, I really appreciate your comments. So one of the things we want to switch up a little bit, we have Darren Brown, and Darren serves as our assistant division administrator for civil rights, and I would say, and lead the Business Opportunity Workforce Development Center. So there's some good things have been happening. But I'm going to set the stage for Darren, and then he can then respond to this question. Because we recognize that it says 20% of small businesses fail in their first year, 30% small businesses fail in their second year, and 50% in their fifth year. Those stats are important to know, because if you're in business, you don't want to be in those categories, right? And so with that and the resources that we provide, it is to try to change the paradigm shift to let those numbers go down, because we want businesses who make that effort to go into business to be successful, and to be able to expand. And so with that, I do have a question for Darren. So what does the future hold for the BOWD Center and DBE supported services in Hampton Roads and around the state. And you can even talk about some of those services that the center provides.
Great question, and thanks for having me on this morning. I would like to say that for our DB community, in the future, everything looks bright. I'd like to begin with some of the great things that we've done this year during the pandemic. Since July, we have provided up to 130,000 financial assistance to our DB community. We've been able to continue to host virtual training classes to meet the needs of those DBs we find they need to be strengthened in. We've also been able to increase our database with over 600 new DBEs at the Bow Center, and we continue to provide financial assistance for update your website, any type of training, any type of certification, OSHA 10, OSHA 30, whatever their needs are. Our goal is to meet them where they are. We realize that there are a lot of different areas that we can improve in, but we've been able to sustain and help our DB communities, and we can measure that out by the attendance rate that we have on all of our virtual DB training classes, which is based upon surveys and the needs that they've indicated they wanted. For example, we've had pre-qualification training, safety training, post-COVID, which you get your company ready for, cash flow management, just a variety of different courses to get them where they need to be at. We just got another big sum of money from the Federal Highway Administration to help them with more financial assistance. We've increased the assistance to DBs to like $10,000 annually. So everything looks great. The Bow Center continues to do great things and continues to partner with a variety of different organizations, Clark Construction, BTCA, City of Hampton, City of Norfolk, Virginia Tech. So we're getting creative and trying to meet the needs and assess problem areas that they may incur.
Thanks, Darren. And I'm going to ask Billy if he can put on the screen the Bow Center website as well, and a link to VDOT's website as well. Because, and Darren, I would like for you mentioned financial assistance, and of course, when we put dollars out there, and you said $10,000 for that a DB could potentially have access to. Could you elaborate on that for our participants? What is that process for receiving some of that financial assistance?
Certified DBE, your company needs to be in the transportation arena, certified in that area. We then ask that you complete a readiness tool assessment, which basically have about 88 different questions you answer. And then from those marks that you provide, we're able to assess this is where you need help at. It might be in financial literacy, it might be in safety, it might be in marketing, but you need to take those that survey, and then you're eligible. And then you submit a financial assistance form identifying, hey, I've had folks come in for $25,000, but you're not going to get $25,000. I mean, it's interesting because we really scrutinize and we just try to make sure that you're not gaming the system. We also have you to fill out a bid activity report. Based on the bid activity report, we're able to see how many DBs that have come through there. We can look at the total values of contracts our DBs have gotten. The last time I looked at the data, I believe that we've had over $20 million in contracts that come through DBs who have come through the Bow Center. And so but we're trying to get the word out because a lot of folks don't know about our financial assistance. And so that's why we're participating today, to get that information out, because we have a whole lot of money. And I don't want to lose it. You know, you heard us say, you use it, you lose it. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it.
Right.
But
And we love to hear we have a whole lot of money, right?
Yeah.
another thing is, people come in, can you give us money to buy a building? No, we can't give you money to buy a building. We can't give you money to buy a tractor trailer. So it's interesting to how they come in. I've had folks that come in, I want to take, you say certification, I want to take this project management course. It's at Harvard University. Now, we're not paying for you to go to Harvard University to get no project management certification. I use those examples because everybody's trying to game the system. It would be very, I have to chuckle sometime. Right off the bat, I already know this ain't happening.
Well, one of the things, you know, and Darren, thank you for that information, and two, and that's why we depend on our partners, for those on the screen and for others as that's participating on this panel, because that's how we're going to be able to get the word out, in order to maximize the funding resources. We typically will hear firms talk about you know, financial assistance, and we identify some of those resources. So, you know, so we need, you know, the panel's help in order to communicate those resources that are available so that we can expend those dollars, you know, in a, you know, in a compliant way, in a positive way that's going to expand businesses. And that kind of also leads me back to you, Alyssa, you know, from a financial standpoint. I know, you know, your background is finance, you know, Alyssa can probably answer any questions. You know, she came from the banking community. And so this
reformed banker, right?
Yeah. And so with that, Alyssa, I mean, you know, the seat that you're in, serving as, you know, project director now, is such, you know, a critical piece, you know, for small businesses. And we are just really fortunate to have you in that space. And so I want you to, I know you briefly talked about some of the resources, but I wanted to ask, you know, how has SBTC evolved over the past few years to service small businesses, whether it's in this, you know, virtual environment, but we've been able to see some of that growth. But what do you say to that?
Yeah, so a couple of things I would say. Number one, we're seeing overall across the marketplace, if you will, in construction, and you all may be seeing that too as well in Virginia, but there's been a lack of qualified folks in the trades, or there's been some folks leaving and retiring and doing other things, and we don't have that pipeline of people to replace them. So we actually have a Women in Transportation initiative, really kind of focused on building women in non-traditional industries, specifically in transportation, but anything STEM related. So you think about going out and encouraging younger students, but especially the girls, to think about different career opportunities. The last time I was in front of some younger students, middle school students, and I asked them about some career opportunities. What were they thinking about? What were their opinions on transportation? They just kind of looked at me and said, well, I don't want to be a bus driver, because that's all they've been exposed to, right? So we have to think about transportation planning and building and, you know, design work and all the rest of that. So traffic control, you know, so those are we have a student internship that we have a paid student opportunity for a female student. And we're partnering this year with VDOT to kind of think about a couple of students to place there. I have that comes in every single year. So if that's something that is of interest to people, I'd be happy to kind of talk in more specific about it. Yes. But we're also, we're also talking about women in trades, women in construction. How do we build that pipeline? So we're focused here, you know, our headquarters in North Carolina, we reach all across the region, of course, but we have started building some relationships with HBCUs to kind of see if we can't get in with the younger students and think about some career opportunities and what those opportunities might look like. The other thing you mentioned on, or you touched on, was financial. You know, I'll say of all the states and the region that I've traveled and worked with, VDOT has got the best supportive services program that I have worked with. So y'all are doing it right. So definitely. And I would have your DBEs who are certified definitely take advantage of, build those relationships with the BOUD Center, build those relationships with VDOT, and take advantage of those supportive services, because there is some funding available for qualified reasons, right? I can't write you a check for a big fat amount, but if you're looking to attend a conference, if you're looking to take the GC exam, and you are looking to build your business and build capacity that way. The other thing on the financial side is thinking about accessing capital, and that seems to be a consistent and constant conversation for a lot of our businesses. But we, the organization here, the National Institute of Economic Development, earlier in the year have merged with the CDFI, so Community Development and Financial Institution, where we are able to offer our ongoing active clients some access to funding in-house. So, I know this entire conversation is not to be about funding, but CDFIs have got some benefit over and above kind of your traditional conservative, lender out there. But that's something
and we need to know that.
Yeah. Yeah, the CDFI is a nonprofit organization that really kind of focuses on building the community rather than only looking at bottom line and returning profits to the investor. So there's a different approach. There's a different sometimes there's different qualifications. Now, everything doesn't get approved, but we are able to be a little more flexible, I think, with credit scores and all of that. Right. So that's something we'd be happy to kind of talk folks through, if that comes up as part of their growth plans when they think about accessing capital to purchase equipment, hire some folks, work on the next opportunity or the next bid for that big job.
Oh, wow. Lisa, those are some loaded comments there, because when you really think about, the presence, of the Institute within the region, we've been able to see, some, cross-state partnerships as well with that, and to strengthen, all of our economies. And so I really appreciate your comments, and one of the things with firms, we really want them to really connect to the ability to access capital and utilize some of these non-traditional resources. We have also partnered with some of our local banks as well here in Hampton Roads, so that they really understand, this project, the need on this project. So that has been a really great partnership, locally. But we have really appreciated your ability to bring your services directly to firms in our region, the BEP, the training, and even just the follow through with firms. How you doing and what are you doing? Is greatly recognized and appreciated. But something that you said also resonated. One, in terms of HBCU, this particular project connects and particularly City of Hampton on two fronts. We have Hampton University. So, when you were talking about student internship, that university particularly came to mind. We have Norfolk State University here, in our areas, in our region as well. So we would love to be able to make those connections, so that those students, have an opportunity to participate. And we also want to see them come into transportation, right?
Absolutely, right. So we've had conversations at Virginia Union there in Richmond. But yeah, we'd love to talk with Norfolk State as well.
All right. Hey, that's an action item.
It's a deal.
That's right. To make that happen, and we have great partners, with HU. And I was also saying, to the City of Hampton and Hampton Public Schools. I want to just put this out there. They are phenomenal when it comes to, and I see Erica, you nodding your head. I'm sure you have two kids from in Hampton Public School system, but Hampton has really embraced the concept of entrepreneurship and workforce development. And so this actually is a great segue, Erica, to you to talk about, some of the things, because Hampton, your involvement is small business and workforce development. And so, I would love for you to just talk about how has the city adapted to serve small businesses, during this time frame, but with the focus on workforce development?
So within the last 6 months, I've taken on the role of manager of the workforce development program. So originally, most people that are on this call know me on the small business side. And so just now combining my role on both ends, sometimes it's funny to see how they actually run side by side. And so, of course, like everyone else on this call, when COVID first hit, we all went into an immediate survival mode. Like, what is this? I'm trying to find a balance between environment, social, and economic concerns. And of course, businesses shutting down, people not being able to go in restaurants, and employers not having employees. And then as we try to come back from, being, I call it being in timeout. When we came out of timeout, trying to help the employers get employees back. And so we've had to be proactive in getting out there and finding out what the businesses actually need. So on the economic development side, it's easy for us to tell businesses what they need or what we think they need, but actually getting down in person, which I'm excited about. When I say in person, it's a whole totally different level than it meant 18 months ago. Finding out what it is that they need, how can we assist, how can we walk alongside them in this process, and what does it look like for the city to help? Sometimes when the city's involved, sometimes people are like, oh, that's the city. So it's important for us to know where you all need us to stand, how you all need us to walk alongside. And then you talked about the involvement with Hampton City Schools. If you're not familiar with the academies of Hampton City Schools and you're on this call, I recommend that you take a look, because what Hampton City Schools is doing is creating a pathway. There's over 50 pathways for students to take when they graduate. So we know everyone's not going to go to a four-year university, but the trades are here. There's one academy, like Queen said, for entrepreneurs, and there's also an academy at Bethel High School that does trail. And so I know you all work with them, the transportation side, and these students are simply amazing. And so channeling in with them to be able to connect with them, because they are going to be the next generation of folks working on these projects. They are the next generation of engineers. And so I encourage you to take a look at all the work that they are doing, and try to connect with them and see if you can have them come out to your businesses, see if you can have them come out on a field trip to learn what you do. And like you said, we work extremely closely with them. I think I'm in a meeting with them at least once a week somewhere at one of the high schools.
I can imagine.
And they are just simply amazing. So I would encourage you all to take a look at what they're doing in the schools.
Oh my goodness, Erica, that was so spot on. And for our participants out there, I think you're exactly right in terms of we have to look at our future and look at how we can engage those in secondary education, those at collegiate level, in terms of moving them into transportation, the construction industry. Yeah, they do walk with this very singular mind. They thinking, you say transportation, Alyssa, you're right. They think bus driver, because every time we do a outreach event with the high school, they think VDOT is, control the bus and the bus system. And so, really trying to educate them about what is it that we really do. But I really do like what you said, Erica, and appreciate the work that Hampton is doing. But yeah, I can't say enough about Hampton Public Schools. Yeah, you're in a meeting with them maybe once a week. I'm probably having discussions with them once a month. And even our central office is engaged with them as well. And so, because we're trying to prepare the future. But that sounds like a really great segue. I want to ask, in terms of Billy, who's backstage. I call him our puppet master. So so Billy, do we have any questions out there? I know we want to stay, on time, but any questions from any of our participants? Okay. All right. So with that, we'll hold on to the very end, and maybe there's some other questions. But I think I prepared y'all really well because it's almost like your comments lead us into the very next item because it was something that Erica said in terms of identifying what businesses need. And so the next question goes back to LaShonda. In terms of one of the questions that we had was in terms of what have small businesses that you work with have shared with you in terms of their needs and recommendations for moving forward? What are you hearing from your constituents about the needs?
Sure. So one of the things that we focusing on is we understand that information is currency. And so a lot of our entrepreneurs, they need information. They need to know how to navigate like doing business with the city. And so we have strategically connected with the entrepreneurs, giving them that extra hand holding, the technical assistance. We actually have a grant through Rockefeller Opportunity Collective that will connect an entrepreneur to a professional service provider in business consulting, accounting, branding and marketing, website development, e-commerce, because we found like during the pandemic that a lot of our business owners, they've had to pivot their business model, but didn't really know how to do that. And they didn't have the funds to actually connect with a professional service provider. And so we have an opportunity now to connect them with someone that can give them that advice, that give them that recommendation on how to move your business and move that needle to the next level. And so the technical assistance was key in businesses growing. They started the business, but they needed that extra assistance, even with application support. So if you're applying for a grant or loan, even with economic development, we've helped them with just helping them through that process of applying for the grant so they understand exactly what questions that they need to answer thoroughly. What are we looking for? How can you actually get across that finish line so you can be awarded for that grant? So that technical assistance was definitely key. And that's one of the elements that they were looking for, as well as the information and making sure that everyone has all the information that they need.
LaShonda, so with that grant, what has been the smallest amount or the largest amount that that businesses have been able to receive?
Sure. So the Rockefeller Opportunity Collective is actually focused on Black and Latinx business owners that have 5 or fewer employees. And actually, the pre-qualifier is that you've already come through our Capital Access Grant Program or the Coronavirus Relief Fund Grant Program that we administered on last year. And so the opportunity for you to connect with professional service provider that you will have up to $4,000 for each of the services, $1,000 for each category: business consulting, accounting, branding and marketing, and website development.
Wow. I mean, really think about it. If our participants recognize, the resources just simply have been identified just from this group, is amazing to help you really grow your business and get to prosperity as well. And I'm sure you are just like everybody else, LaShonda. They're like out beating on doors, saying, "Hey, we have these resources
Yes.
available. Come our way. We really want to help you." Because I don't think you're going to find, a more committed advocacy group in order to make that happen that we have here today. I mean, amazing. The city of Hampton doing some amazing things. The resource center, the Bow Center, SVSD. Oh my goodness, the things that you all are doing are just phenomenal. And then with the the city of Norfolk, we probably just can't say enough about that. I know we do have a little bit of time. I'm looking. Oh, we do have a couple questions. Let's try to get those in.
Now, so I've had a couple of good ones come through that I think are awesome, especially on the funding side. There was one in specific about using funding for the purchase of a transfer trailer. A second one on the same kind of topic, securing funding to help work on an outdated website.
I don't know, LaShawn, any one of you can take this question. LaShawn, you want to start with that one? Darren, you want to pick up?
Sure, I can. I can start about the outdated website. We'll be so one of the things that I wanted to share is that we have a small business website that we actually launched and during the pandemic, where it's a one-stop shop where you can actually have resources 24 hours a day. We thought about it, 2 a.m. entrepreneur that has that bright idea and that just needs access to how to get started and how to grow your business. And it gives you 4 easy ways of starting your business: planning, launching, managing, and growing. And so to help to get your business move to the next level and actually have that online presence, we'll be happy to assist you as far as where you are, where your website is, and we can connect you with that professional service provider to so they can actually put the bells and whistles on your website so people know where you are and providing what resources for your business.
Awesome.
And I can add my information. Billy can add you my information.
And I'd just like to follow up. The Ballot Center does have funding for website development and branding. The only criteria is that whoever you get to develop your website must be a DBE or SWaM that develops your website. And again, we have up to $10,000. It's tax free. You don't have to pay it back. So we have funding.
Okay. All right.
Hey, can I just add in, whoever's on this call, please link up with your economic development department.
Yes.
Each city is going to be different. I know LaShonda probably has the same thing when people say, well, this city has this and this city has that. Every single city is going to have different programs that are going to fit different needs for different businesses. So please don't just limit yourself, to trying to figure out what one city is doing. Connect with each economic development with city you're in and figure out how to tie in and what's going to work for you. And also keep in mind, especially when you talk about grants and funding, that every grant opportunity is not going to be for you. There's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of bells and whistles that go into grants. And sometimes what you have to put out for a grant is not going to be beneficial for you in the long run. So please make sure that you utilize services to help you understand what you're signing, what you're getting into, and make sure that you find a me or LaShonda in the city that you're in.
Great. Also, Queen, I'd like to add to SBSD. We do have our own in-house lending division, the VSBFA, which is the Virginia Small Business Financing Authority. They do have very specific criteria, but they even have a microloan. So I would encourage anyone to actually visit our website, www.sbsd.virginia. Make sure you spell Virginia out, .gov. And if you click on the tab for VSBFA or the Virginia Small Business Financing Authority, you'll have a lot of information there. The individuals that work in that division all have a lending background, and so they can speak to you specifically about your needs and whether or not there is a program that will fit your business. So I do encourage them to do that as well.
Awesome. That's great information because we know online we have persons, businesses from Hampton Roads, but also from other states as well. And those, in western part of Virginia. So great comment in terms of connect where you are, right? In order to be able to get the resources that you need to be able to grow your business. So Malcolm, I think we have 1 minute, and I want to say anyone who wants to answer this question, and it's basically, what advice would you offer a small business? Somebody approach you right this moment. What's the one thing that you will tell them in order to help them grow?
All right. I think we can all add to that, but I will just say, make sure your business is ready to do business. Be an expert in your industry, know your market, and have your legal and financial affairs in order before you leap out there. And then a lot of great resources here. Any of us can connect you to a resource or even walk you through some of those processes.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Somebody else want to jump in on this last one?
I would agree. I would say build your professional team around you. Someone earlier mentioned working on your business versus working in your business every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to have somebody who's your accountant, your banker, your legal, your bonding team, and your bonding agent. Like all these things are critically important as you work on the business.
I would
right.
just add, be open to change, never get stuck with doing your business just one way, and then take advantage of the resources that are available to you.
Excellent comment. And if I might add, I like that word. I think we started out, it was saying be intentional. I would encourage firms to be intentional in every action as it relates to your business. You use the word, pivot. You got to be flexible, right? And be adaptable to all the changes that may occur. And these are things that you all just hit on as we were talking today. And I would just ask, Billy, are there any questions before we move to close this session? Okay. If not, I want to thank each one of our panel members. I mean, you did a phenomenal job, and we really appreciate your forethought, and your comments, and really the resources that you bring to the table to help small businesses, within our region, within our state, and just right here locally as well. So thank you all for your time. Participants, I think they said we had 200 plus participants joining us today. We want to strongly encourage you. Please stay connected, engage. Everybody don't call Malcolm at the same time, but reach out. Reach out and reach out to any member of our panel in order to help grow your business. Because it's all about what growth to progress. All right, Malcolm, I turn it over to you.
Thank you so much to the whole panel. Thank you, Queen and Angela, Nina, Darren, Elisa, Erica, and LaShonda. That was perfect and nothing short, just like the work that you all do every day. And to your point, Queen, I've actually taken a few calls from DBEs while you all were talking. So thank you for that consideration. But now that we've hit the 10:17 hour, it's time for the exhibitor networking. And so we are going to have our esteemed event producer, Billy Garland, throw that link back up in the chat for everyone's convenience. If anybody has issues finding the landing page for the exhibitors, please let us know, and we'll be happy to help you navigate there. It's richmond.com/exclusive/HRCP. And I'm going to throw it into the chat here again as well. But there it is for you. So please click that link there in the chat. Find the room that you would like to speak with some of our decision makers in, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thanks again to all of our participants today and all of the DBE and SWaM firms and folks from out of state and in-state who've tuned in. We appreciate your support of small business on this project. Thank you so much.